Hello, I'm Paul Ailey in conversation with Francis Gaz, author of the crime and political thriller The Assassin's Diary. This is The State of the State, Bayelsa 2019, Episode 2. And in this episode, we will be analyzing the cost to society of the emerging worrying scenario of politicians seeing purchasing of nomination forms as political investment. We could equally target a high cost of nomination forms of both the PDP and the APC, and the huge number of politicians purchasing these forms, and importantly, its implications to society. Mr. Frank, it's good doing this with you again.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Before we begin, I'd like to say that the State of the State Bayelsa 2019 is the personal effort of Frank and I in getting involved in the political process that will usher in the next government in February 14, 2020. And what we do with this personal effort is basically to interactively analyze the issues around the political process. And so we'd like you to follow us, we'd like you to comment, we'd like you to like us, and we equally like you to importantly subscribe so that you get notified as soon as we upload any videos on the YouTube channel Paul AB Radio. And so Frank, the focus on this edition of this episode of the program is high cost of nomination forms, the large number of politicians going for the forms, implications to society of this ugly scenario, and expect financing of elections, which is 200 million naira for the governorship, place of fundraising to a political dream, the role of INEC as regulator of the electoral process, and place of a robust but internal political process by which leaders and standard bearers of political parties could emerge. And so let's begin with the high cost of nomination forms. When you hear that the PDP having this huge number of politicians going for their forms, for should be, what we should concentrate even the more should be this, that is this huge sums of money coming from the political aspirants themselves, is this huge sums of money coming from just a few cronies of these aspirants themselves? Are they making the efforts to raise some of these monies in other crimes, civilized crimes, raising finances to prosecute your political aspiration is an important part. It gives the public that awareness that, okay, if you have the ability to raise this much money, then it means you are popular, then it means you've got what it takes to weather the storm and come out successfully as a candidate of your political party, pledge the ticket of your political party. So it's a huge factor. Your ability to raise 21 million naira from the public for the fund shows that you can go the whole hog in competing with the candidate of your opposing party. Politicians aware that they are supposed to raise monies from the public and not to cough out these monies from their pockets or from cronies around them.
That is. We are talking about what should be, but let's equally talk about what is right now. Yes, it should be that the people should be the one making this money available. Like, to be very, very upright, one can say that the moment you declare your intent or your interest running for a political office, the first step for people to know whether or not you are credible is fundraising. How do you raise funds and how effective it is? The effectiveness of that will make glaring how far you can go. But here we don't do that. Individual persons are bringing out this money. Sometimes I wonder, from where are they making this money? We are talking about a Bayelsa state of over 2 million persons, where we have only 200,000 civil servants, and with a lot of people poor, no money, no nothing. People are starving, and there are few persons coughing out this million, and all of these persons, they are either once in government or are in government. From where are they coughing out this money? And then they are using this money to purchase this fund, to do that without any fundraising and all of that. I think this is not healthy. It's not an healthy practice. I know we look at it as people, this is the normal thing, this is a Bayelsan, this is a Nigerian thing, because this is normal. But I'm appealing to every one of us that this is not normal. We shouldn't encourage them. We should try and make the people to bring us into the political process. I think the way they are bringing out the money, I don't agree with them. Let them organize a fundraiser. From there we'll know who is a popular candidate, who is a credible candidate.
In conclusion, let's dwell around internal democracy, the place of a robust but internal political process through which standard bearers of political parties emerge. In our society, in the Nigerian political culture, politicians with political aspirations of becoming governors of their states are screened out based on their inability to purchase the forms or their inability to prosecute their political ambition to the last minutes. And equally, their ability to negotiate with other politicians who equally have the interest for that same office within the political party with a view to say, okay, you leave it for me, I should have a ticket, and then I will see to it that you're compensated in some way because you've spent money to purchase the funds and all whatnot. Is that a credible way of screening people out and screening people in for the ticket of the political party?
Not even nowhere. If you talk about internal democracy in our political parties, you know that it is not there. Take for instance, the PDP and the APC, those are the big parties we have. As a member of a political party, you can't carry the member of a political party, you have two fundamental rights: the right to vote and the right to be voted for. Okay? Then if those are not observed, like the way it is now, if you are a member of the PDP family, no matter what you do, you will never ever vote. Because the internal democracy process is selection. They select who they want. There might be a lot of persons collecting this form, but at the end of the day, no member of the PDP will vote. They are still going to, the big boys will sit together and will say, we like A, let A come. This is a political party. This is an election in Bayelsa State. But our candidates are all in Abuja doing what? They are lobbying people who are perhaps not Bayelsans. They are lobbying people who are not Bayelsans. Why are they doing that? Because those people are the people who are at the top of the political parties. If those people decide, then Bayelsa will have no other option but as accept. But under normal circumstances, all of these 20% or so persons, both in PDP and the APC, should have been here in Bayelsa State, lobbying, campaigning, telling us their manifesto, telling us what they intend to do, telling us the reason they are better than the next person. It should be them and it shouldn't be the other person. But they are not here. We've not seen any one of them here. They come in casually once in a while, establish a campaign secretariat, and the next minute they are either in Lagos, Abuja, or in Kano. So, talking about internal democracy, it is completely not there. That is something that's a great undoing factor to our politics.
Just before we finally conclude, I'd like Frank to talk a little bit more with respect to the role INEC should play in ensuring that political parties truly have some level of decency with respect to democracy, internal democracy, and then we will conclude.
Yes, I think the INEC should actually focus more on how they can give Bayelsans credible election. That is something that is primary. And for them to do that, they can't just wait for the general election. They have to actually pay their attention on what is happening within this system. Discourage some of these things. Do not allow some of these things to take place. Make the people to be aware of their presence. Then that being said, there's another beautiful part of all of these that I actually like. Like in Bayelsa State, this is another election era, and despite the high cost of the forms, and there are actually a lot of Bayelsans who are interested in Bayelsan affairs. I like the fact that we have a lot of persons getting this form, contesting on the different platforms, telling the people they are here to actually rescue us from this or from that, divine mandate of God. So I like the fact that a lot of people are interested in governance. But the only thing I'm going to say, it is not enough to be interested in governance. There should be better reasons as to why you are interested in governance.
All right, that's on this episode of the State of the State Bayelsa 2019. Our appeal to you is that this is a personal effort, and that we should like you to encourage us by liking our videos, commenting on them, and importantly, subscribing to them with a view to getting notifications whenever we upload new videos. We'll continue to do this all through the political process until a new governor is installed in Government House.